The following program is sponsored by Capitec. Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Insider SA, your guide to living better. Join us today as we open up to Vigour with SA Fashion Week winner Thando Mtuli, whose family history of style is the lifeblood of her brand. Chantell Lungiswa Joe fuses her Khoi, Xhosa and Zambian culture to fire up local ceramics. Fitness content creator Obakeng Makapane shares how plant-based dishes spice up a healthy diet. Discover the Cederberg, where the Milky Way still puts on the best show in town. Performing artist Nirvana Nokwe reinvigorates music like her African music legend of a mother, Dr Tu Nokwe, did before her. And the key to refreshing this mid-century classic of a home is inside and on top. By the time the Vigour of her debut collection won South African Fashion Week Emerging Talent of 2022, Thando Mtuli had been building towards her brand identity since she was a schoolgirl.
Welcome to my childhood home. We are in Orlando East, and this is where it all began. I began my fashion career by going into fashion communication. I started as a trainee buyer in corporate and worked up to a junior buyer in kids wear specifically. I then saw that I wanted to have more of a creative purpose, as well as just making sure that I can do everything I dreamt of doing at a young age. This led to me pushing my brand and really just betting on myself. My whole brand and my whole conceptualization of my designs is inspired by my family, the generational women in my life. Those are my great-grand, my gran, and me. It's like a mixture of retro styles, 80s and 90s inspiration, but allowing me to make clothing that kind of closes a gap between all the age groups.
Helping to bring such designs to life is why Tatum Roger got into the business.
So the print that we are looking at today has been inspired by someone finding themselves. Usually when you think of generational lines of women or your family, someone has kind of walked through a path to kind of help you find your direction as well. Through it, you can see kind of symbols that represent stuff that you would even find in a map.
So the print process is basically taking Thando's design and putting it through our print software. As you can see, Brenda's putting it through our print software, and it's going to be printed onto our sublimation paper. With the color on the sublimation paper, it's much lighter, and as it goes through the heat press and it's pressed with the heat press belt, it's pressed onto the fabric base, and you'll see the colors much darker, and you really get to see that dark pigment.
These patterns allow whoever wears them to be bold and easily walk the line between smart and casual.
The color of the print was kind of placed on 3 different colors. I went with black, I went with red, I went with green, and the overall color as well that ties everything together is a cream base. The green represents growth, the red kind of represents blood spilled from your ancestors moving on to a different generation, as well as having the black kind of you being potent, a queen, strong, a symbolization of who you are in today's time or want to be in today's time.
A story does not have to be literal. It can be told just as well in color and print.
The final process is that we show Thando the sample, and she checks if she likes the color, the fabric base, and the actual print on the fabric base.
So the final step is basically just checking out your final garment when it's done and seeing if there's any loose threads or if there's anything you need to adjust. If not, you are done and ready to go.
Winning most fashionable commercial range with her final year graduate collection was an important step to the big time.
So my experience of showcasing at the SA Fashion Week was always something a little surreal. I think being a young designer or being in school, it always seemed like a dream that was a little too far away as much as it could be attained. I think SA Fashion Week became a platform for me where they want to see your success and they want to help you get there. So it's just a matter of you taking the moment and taking the opportunity, which I did.
Thando's gran Dorothy Mtembu first saw her express herself through dress, and it's a journey which the young designer's husband Arnaud Somi now walks with her.
The day Thando won the SA Fashion Week was very emotional for us because we knew that the weeks before Thando put a lot of hard work in her collection. That was a very emotional journey for the whole family, for the whole support system around her. At the moment we knew she won, it was a moment of relief.
When a child is growing up, you can see what path is she taking, and then all of a sudden she's in fashion designing. And I was really skeptical, but she proved me wrong. She has taken her profession very seriously, and she has tended to be a very hard worker.
For me, Thando's success is very, very, very much deserved. She's been very, very disciplined with her work, and she puts a lot of efforts into her journey.
I think we as South Africans have now started to push boundaries in terms of clothing and fashion, where we are seen to the rest of the world as potential to be the next greatest fashion houses. The moment you are specific about what you want and you know what your goal is, every decision or any opportunity put in front of you from that moment, you are able to make that decision knowing that it's going to bring you closer to your goal or not. So living my life through that process for the past 3 years has really kind of helped me mature as a person and also know, all right, this is what I want my life to be, and this is where I see myself, so this is what I have to do, or these are the type of people who I'm speaking to who can help me do that.
Through her invigorating design, Thando aims to give people a sense of home wherever they are. She's already lit up Lagos Fashion Week and is driving a new African style movement. Coming up, Lungiswa Joe lights a fire under African ceramics, and Fit Obi says healthy diets begin with adding ingredients. Working with clay is just the latest exploration for the vigorous Chantell Lungiswa Joe, a costume designer with credits on 3 films, founder of a market for township women to sell their harvest, and now a ceramicist.
I call myself a creative. I tend to create a lot of things. I'm very good with my hands, and also in my own way, I celebrate people that make things with their hands. And for me, I call those people creators because they're able to take something from nothing and create something beautiful out of that. Nature is a very crucial part of how I create because it also reminds me that we are dirt ourselves. How I use it in my work is with the soil that I would have picked up, I would layer it on the tea bowls, which kind of gives landscape, which kind of gives an idea of you being lost somewhere. It's about picking up things that could create textures in my work. It's about looking around and saying, what could you mimic in your shapes and your forms?
This is as grounded as an artist gets, taking from nature what she needs for her work and no more.
There's something about the soil that just reminds you that we are one with nature. We are part of Earth. So when I do come here, I connect because it's my moment to receive and let go. Before I take any from it, I normally just go into a silent prayer to ask before I take a bit of the soil with me to the studio. It's also a form of a reminder of our heritage, that we dwell this land. We are gatherers, we are people of the land, we connect with the land, we make from the land. It reminds me of the Khoi people, how they've been just dwelling in this land, how they know each part of this land, and it's such a strong inspiration, such a strong part of who we are. It's soil, but this is who we are soil. This is my tool, this is my favorite tool. I like using it to create textures in my work, and then create these nice little dimensions to the work. The reason why when I look at it, I think about a seed. Anything that's a seed has life. this gives life to my product. This gives life to what I just created. It added another dimension to it.
Lungiswa's work is a fusion of her Khoi, Xhosa and Zambian lineage, with each piece representing a blend of her ancestry.
I'm making a traditional clay pot. It's more for a memory. It's more of remembering how women used to cook back in the day. And I do think in some rural areas, women still use clay pots to cook from, and the food tastes differently from it. That's why I'm creating one to remember where we come from and remember how things used to be and the beauty of them. What I like about working with my hands is it allows me to trust myself. I like using my hands as a tool because it allows me to feel what I'm doing. It allows me to connect properly with the clay. I'm happy with our pot. We finished making it. Now it has to sit for 2 weeks to dry, and then I'm going to do a bit sparring for it. I do have a pot that I've made already, and I've tasted it, and we're going to make umfino with it, which is my grandmother's favorite dish, and it's going to be delicious.
Of that, fellow artist Tozamile Mnapu had no doubt.
Right now we have water boiling in the pot, and what I'm going to do is to add the spinach and the spring onion freshly picked from the garden, and then I'm going to add some maize meal to finish off my umfino. Oh my word, this looks good. Is that what I'm trying?
Yeah, this looks good, man. You did it very well, man.
Let's go eat.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I've dedicated my ceramic practice to my grandmother. Reason being is every time I create, I always sense a female figure around me. Cooking umfino in this pot just made sense. If I would say anything to umakhulu right now, which I called Mama, I'd say thank you. Baya donkey. You've raised me. I remember the story that you told me of your people, and I carry it in my work.
Enjoying food she helped bring to market from a pot she made. Lungiswa Joe creates a new recipe for happiness each day. Vigorous by nature, Obakeng Makapane has been on the move from her childhood in Tembisa to studying economics and statistics at UCT, then moving back to Josie for work. She'd already begun a career at varsity, helping students to get fit and lose weight, and decided to expand on this venture.
Hi, Insider SA. My name is Obakeng, also known as Fit OV. I'm a wellness and fitness content creator. Some of the content I share includes my workout routines, what I eat, why I eat it, and how I prepare it. I actually value my online platform because it has allowed me to start a business, something that I never anticipated when I started off. I am now a fitness entrepreneur, if you may put it that way, and I own a wellness and fitness business. Overall, good health and vigor to me means living a well-balanced life. This means I have to live a balanced life in my fitness life, in my wellness life, in my career, in my finances as well. And vigor means being able to sustain it. And I really, really love what I do, and I love who I am when I'm living a good, healthy lifestyle.
Having earned her honors in economics, Obi started a fitness business hosting boot camps.
I'll be showing you 2 exercises which you can perform in the comfort of your own home or at the gym. The first exercise we'll be performing is the lunge. The nice thing about the lunge is that it focuses on your back as well as your legs. What you have to do when you're doing the lunge is make sure that your knee is not going above your toes and that you're at a 90-degree angle with your front leg as well as your back leg. Make sure to squeeze your glutes and tighten your core. The second exercise is a high plank. The high plank is typically a beginner's exercise. I'd advise that you hold this for 20 to 30 seconds. Once you feel confident in this position, then you can take it to the lower plank. The lower plank is an intense version of the higher plank. This will definitely work your core and strengthen your back. Find something that you really, really enjoy and make sure that you stick to it. Have a plan. Last but not least, have an accountability partner, someone who's going to remind you, hey, go to the gym, hey, have you done your workouts for today? I find that people set their resolutions but can't stick to them because no one is there to hold them accountable.
Using her fitness influence to support athletes from Tembisa, another way this dynamo gives back is by advocating for a more plant-based diet with a refreshing take on how to start.
One aspect of my life that affects my wellness, fitness, and vigor is food. Once I decided to turn completely plant-based, I started enjoying exploring different food, playing around with my vegetables, and actually adding more spice to this healthy lifestyle that I live.
Lexi's is a plant-based restaurant, so everything is mostly vegan, but we do have 1 or 2 carnivorous items for those who aren't quite ready to try vegan food. My top tip for people that want to be healthier is do not let perfect get in the way of good enough. So do the thing that you can do today. And then some of my favorite ingredients to use, number 1 is tahini, which is made from sesame seeds. It's got lots of protein and lots of vitamin B12, which vegans struggle to get. And then always legumes, great source of protein, so chickpeas, lentils, butter beans, and then eat the rainbow. So lots of veggies, lots of fruits, variety of things every day, and you are winning.
Some of the top tips that I'd give anyone who's trying to eat healthy is finding something that works for you. Something that you can incorporate into your current lifestyle. People always struggle because they try to replace and remove certain stuff from their plate instead of adding the nutritional stuff.
As an economist, Obakeng is tireless in wanting to help South Africans move to greater financial well-being. And through Capitec, she has found a wealth of ways to start that journey.
As a young girl, I wanted to be the governor of South Africa. I then went on to do a bit of research and fell in love with knowing what is going on in the markets, not just for South Africa, but for Africa as well. I do believe that we are a continent that's going far, and one of the facets of Africa is building a strong economic environment for us. When things aren't working out financially, the first step a person should take is looking at the financial partners that they have. Are they actually suitable for what you're trying to achieve? Do they offer you the best interest rates? And the nice thing about Capitec is that you're able to put everything into one account so that you can make your savings there, you have your investments, you have your day-to-day usage, and you can cover your family. So there's a bit of insurance there as well. The best way to achieve financial vigor is by following similar tips to those of your fitness vigor. And one of the things that you need to do is ensure that you have the right partner. So for example, with Capitec, you can actually go online and look at what financial health means for you as an individual, because you want a partner that's going to support you for your long-term goals, your medium-term goals, and your short-term goals. Another important thing about having a financial partner is accessibility. Capitec offers you the accessibility from your phone, from your laptop, and the comfort of your own home, and can help you track exactly where you are with your finances. That way you can set long-term goals and be able to track them. As a young person, my aim is to make sure that my finances are good, I have a good credit score, I'm able to afford being retired one day, I'm able to save up and invest into my future.
If you'd like to eat, exercise, save, plan, and altogether live better, tell us which piece of Obakeng's advice made most sense to you, and stand a chance of winning R1,000 cash prize courtesy of Capitec. Simply reply to the competition post on the Insider SA social media platforms using #LiveBetterWithCapitec. T's and C's apply and can be found on the Insider SA website. Right after this, wake up in a field of wild flowers and go to bed beneath the Milky Way on a getaway to the Cederberg.
Say hello to the best digital bank in South Africa. With our app, you can pay quick with secure digital payments. Switch and live better with Capitec.
Whether it's the rock, aroma of carpets of rooibos and buchu, the dramatic landscape or epic night skies, few places invigorate quite like this country they call the Cederberg, and explorer Jared Ruttenberg will make any excuse to visit.
Our journey through the Cederberg continues, and we've traversed the spine of the mountains right up to the north. And I'm particularly excited because this is known as Flower Region, and of course we're hoping to see some of those wildflowers.
You'll wake up surrounded by them if you're booked into the Canvas Collective for the night. That's because owners Sam Stern and Des Lundy have designed their luxury camping model to follow the seasons, pitching their tents wherever nature is putting on her best show.
Sam and Des, tell me a little bit about the Canvas Collective and what you've created here.
We pop up in various destinations and you get to experience nature firsthand, but with luxury. Des and I met at a charity, and he was in procurement and I was working with the MPOs. So we decided, how can we really affect people's lives? And that was creating something that he's really good at, which is mobile tent camping, and I've got an events background. And we thought, let's marry the two concepts together, and we decided, let's move and migrate and follow the seasons.
The guests can experience the flowers at Bedou Valley. The next one is in Cederburg. The next one is a secret location. We custom design the tents, and we offer a glass shower in the tent, electric blankets. It also blocks out the sun. The mosquito nets were handmade. The lights in the bathroom was done by the Blind Society. We really just try and enrich people wherever we go.
We pitch the tents up just before the flower season starts so that you literally are immersed in the flowers as they're growing. Food is our passion, and obviously having a kitchen next door to your 5-star tented camp is obvious, and that's also still 100% mobile and follows the rest of the camp. And we do breakfast in bed. Our chef is very interactive as well, and our whole ethos is our home is your home. So if you want to come to the back of the kitchen and fry your own egg the way you want it, you're more than welcome to do that.
Tell me about the various different activities that are on offer.
For this location specifically, we have bread making classes, stargazing, frolicking with the horses. We've got hiking amongst the flowers. Yeah, once again, just experiencing nature at its core, but in luxury.
One of the best ways to explore an area is always by foot, and luckily for me, one of the activities here is a guided walk, so it's time to head out and explore.
Of all the places where he could be general manager, Mzamo Vundle is certain that no office in the world beats this one.
We're in the Cederberg region. Specifically, we are in the Bedou Valley. We're surrounded by 500 million year old mountains. And first settlers that were here, hunter-gatherers, were the San, and some of their rock art still remains here. In fact, this region that we're in has the most rock art left by the San in the entire world. I love the Cederberg because it's remote, peaceful. I mean, just the energy of positivity radiates from just the ground, and you cannot but help feel at peace and content when you're in this area.
Mzamo introduced us to a fellow lover of the Berg, Cecilia Cirilla, doing her PhD in freshwater conservation biology on site.
We're standing at the NGO Nature Dam in the Vigour River Valley, which is a really, really unique area because this river is actually one of the only tributaries where Clan William sandfish are still migrating to spawn every year. And the sandfish, they spend most of the year in the During River, which is the larger river that the Bido flows into. And at the end of every winter, they come up these tributaries, like the Bido. They spawn here, and a couple weeks later, they head back down to the During, and they leave behind hundreds of thousands of eggs. The sandfish is the biggest herbivorous fish in the system. So it can go to about 1/2 meter in length, and it uses its downturned mouth to graze algae off of rocks. So it does this cleaning function in the system, and no other fish does this. So by protecting the sandfish, we protect all of the other species that also use its habitat, and that's what we call an umbrella species. So by focusing a conservation project on an umbrella species, you're actually able to protect everything underneath it.
Whilst treading lightly on the earth, the visiting camp brings its own natural treasures in the form of Sam Stern's renowned challah bread, a staple of her menus.
You start rolling your braids and you create the whole octopus layer, and once you get into a rhythm, it's really just tucking underneath, taking it to the other side, tucking it underneath and taking it to the other side.
Or in Jared's case, you chala what you must.
So we've finished making our colours. Now Sam did a very complicated one. I opted to do something a little bit more simple, but I think it's come out semi-decently.
Yeah, we'll taste it and see the evidence. But
Perfect.
until then, well done.
The point in this style of camping is the luxury, not spending the evening preparing baked beans in a mess tin over a primer stove. So instead of roughing it, Jared surrendered to a gourmet dinner, followed by s'mores around the fire.
It's been a rather exciting introduction to the northern part of the Cederberg, which is indeed a mountainous playground. And here at the Canvas Collective, I've been reminded of the incredible innovation that exists inside the South African hospitality industry.
With a new day came the discovery of another successful initiative by local farmers who have come together to protect their botanical treasures, through which farm manager Gideon Besson offers floral tours like no other.
So we are standing in a UNESCO heritage site, and which makes it so unique is the fauna and flora, specifically our proteas and the fynbos that we have in this area. So this is one of the protea bushes, the sugar bush, one of the just over 300 species of the protea in the Cederberg area. And it is part of the Cape Floristic Kingdom. It is the smallest of the flowering kingdoms, and yet it has the highest concentration of species.
Among those prized for its widely reported health properties as an anti-inflammatory for the treatment of rheumatism and relief of pain is buchu tea, and here they offer quite unique tea tasting.
Brilliant. It's wild, but it's delicate, it's soft, and the closest taste to buchu that I can describe is blackcurrant. Beautiful. Well, cheers to us and cheers to you, nature.
Just 2 hours outside Cape Town, the area is a magnet for hikers or berg watchers, and Dwayne Miller of Cederberg Park Kromrivier has something for everyone.
We've got several accommodation types, starting off at our campsites. Each of the campsites have got their own private ablution block, creating that comfortability factor for campers. We've got 10 luxury chalets, each one named after the peaks in the valley here, and that's where you'll be staying.
If you like it warm, then it doesn't get hotter here than in February and March. But for those cold snaps and all through winter, a wood-burning stove is heavenly.
Dwayne, you worked all over South Africa. What makes this location so unique for you?
Well, listen, Jared, it's the Cederberg I really love. It's some place I can really call home. It's isolated, and you just get away from the busy hustle and bustle that you do get in the city, and it's a location I love.
What a perfect way to wind down after a full day's activities. In a couple of moments, this will be the scene for a delicious braai with local lamb.
Come this time in summer, the wood is perfectly dry, and you'll be braaiing in next to no time, which is just as well, because it's about this hour that the main feature starts.
After a rewarding day of exploring and a great meal, there's one thing left to do. Of course, you can't come to the Cederberg without appreciating the stars, so it's time to head outside and see what's happening in the night sky. Whoa, it's flipping cool.
We're off to Saturn.
Wait, where am I looking?
You look right in there.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, is that for real?
We actually were going to paint it on the lens for you, but no, it is the real deal.
This is spellbinding.
When people come around full circle and they have some sense on a gut level of the magnitude of this, and then you look up at the sky and things take on a different meaning. It provides a context for our lives that is deeply emotional, and you bring it home with you in your day-to-day. Now, what we see in this clip is just simply another night at Cederberg Observatory, where the sun goes down and the stars come out and the heavens reveal themselves.
Well, thank you for sharing this, Carl, and certainly after a full day's activities, I can't think of a better thing to do than return back pull up a deck chair and sit and marvel at the glory of the heavens above.
If you are in need of reinvigoration of the body, soul, or imagination, there can be few better places to find it on Earth or across our solar system. The Cederberg is where it's at. Just ahead, Utata Madiba told her she would be president, but Nirvana Nokwe sees music as her greatest force for good.
Sponsored by Capitec.
I've been waiting on you too long. Poured out my heart to you so strong. I'm not gonna.
This is the voice of multidisciplinary performing artist Nirvana Nokwe, which invigorated fans at the recent Afrochella SA Edition Festival. As she prepares for her next performance in Ghana, the 26-year-old took us back to her creative roots.
I come from a musical family, and all of them are either involved in musical theatre, are recording artists, producers, vocal producers, songwriters, managers. And so they've kind of set the bar very high for me. And I'm very proud of that because my family inspires me every day, and they're able to coach me in such a gentle way, and we're able to support each other by shifting roles very seamlessly because we know what's necessary.
The matriarch in this musical family is legend of African music, Tu Nokwe, who saw a young lionheart in her daughter.
Umamkhulu's been such an integral part in being my cheerleader and like really being my mentor and just like putting me in on stage. They'll be like, no, akangeni, mfaki costume. Like she was the one who was just like, ngena go stage, go into studio, go and do that. So I was raised in a family that did that and immediately got me in professionally. So I got that experience from 4.
Our days are numbered. Can you feel the wind blowing in summer?
The kind of subject matters I write about and I want people to take away from my music are about the human condition and how we impact each other.
Nirvana's niece Biko on bass, nephews Mfundo Tao on piano, and Mana on drums now get to play original family compositions.
And what I hope for people to gain is a sense of meditativeness when listening to the music, as well as a language to begin to articulate their own experiences. I think that's very important in navigating this world and evolving. When you can name it, you can rise above it.
By the same age her nieces and nephews are now, Nirvana had already chosen a career in the arts, inspired by her musical powerhouse of a mother.
I just know from when she was a little girl that she is a determined human being. When she wants something, she goes for it. You can tell her, like, be mindful of this and that, but she will go for what she wants until she falls. And then she's learned her lesson and she gets up and very brave young woman.
The fondest memory I have of my mom was when she was performing at Ubab Mandela's inauguration. That was such a memorable moment for me. And she was a giant amongst giants, and I just loved that image. And I think the coolest thing that happened also that day was Utata picked me up, and he was like, "You're gonna be South Africa's next president." And I was like, "Tata, yes, you get me." The fact that she was able to expose me to those experiences and, you know, expose me to her greatness, it was just it's a very special day.
A woman who values health, longevity, kindness, and respect, Tu's influence on her daughter was about to be cast and fired in clay.
So we're here at the Clay Cafe in Lone Hill, and Mama and I are going to be making some very interesting clay paintings. Is this your first time?
It is, I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous, Mama?
I don't know what is expected.
I think I already know. I think we should make something for each other.
For each other?
I think so.
That is exciting. We actually enjoy using our hands, like when we create something together, but this is the first time that we do something beautiful for each other. in front of each other.
I'm going to be using this as a stencil just because I think my mom's always flourishing with how she thinks. I think she's extremely abstract and so smart. And I think the world needs minds like hers.
I picked the lion because I think I gave birth to a lioness. And all the colors are earthy because I am a Taurus. I like to cushion my child everywhere she is. And when she has this bowl, she will remember who brought her to this world. Well, she actually came through this Earth Mother.
I'm very excited for how it's gonna look at the end.
I had a lot of ideas and I didn't manage to fit them in. I'm like that with everything anyway. So maybe once it's given to my daughter, I will still keep creating more stuff around it.
I absolutely love this bowl. I think it's such a reminder of my childhood and how colorful and naturey my mom was, and just how much she likes to merge different, shapes. She's just such a colorful person. So it really does remind me of my childhood. Thank you, Mommy. I appreciate you.
For Nirvana to create a gift like this and she feels like this is me, I really feel that and I believe it. The experience today was just so divine. It's like a gift.
Yeah.
Today was a gift.
I think it also afforded us an opportunity to just kind of show each other what we mean to each other. I think sometimes when you're used to people, it can be very difficult to remember that you value each other. And I think today gave us a moment to show us that, hey, I see you.
Wow.
You know what it meant to breed and be a woman. Oh, yes, you did. And you would try so hard and fight to have my freedom.
The real question everyone, including Nirvana's mother, wants to know is what she is after in an ideal partner.
I hope that he's a Taurus, because nothing would ever
You want
bore
them
us.
to be like me. I hope that he's a Taurus too.
Yes.
And then
someone that none as strong as you.
Someone as strong as you.
I hope that he's a Taurus, because nothing would ever bore us.
Whoa.
Quran says I should honor you.
Wow.
Mama, I should honor you.
Oh, wow.
I love you.
I love you, Jana.
Next up, the invigorating art of interior architect Dylan Tomaj is as much about what he does with the outdoors as the in.
Sponsored by Capitec.
After the restrictions of the past 3 years, the urge to live and entertain is being expressed in the most creative ways. For the friends and family-minded owners of this home, moving on from lockdowns called for reinvigorating the feel of their already very social house, and they knew just who to call.
Hi, I'm Dylan Tomaj, and I'm an interior architect, and welcome to our Boundary House project here in Johannesburg, Ilovo. We originally did the house in 2017, and our clients gave us a call because they wanted to extend their lifestyle space and add a rooftop pavilion to the house, with keeping in the same silhouette as this Frank Lloyd Wright feel. We looked at how we can incorporate existing elements and extend the house so it doesn't feel like it was just an add-on, that it was always meant to be there. The beautiful thing about the house is it's surrounded by water, and to add to the grandeur of it, we have these two beautiful Khoi ponds surrounded by this beautiful entrance sculpture, which is really, really sophisticated and timeless. We added wall sculptures too, which also just makes it feel a little bit more sophisticated and added more of a dynamic feel versus just having a flat white wall. The other thing that we did was we added bougainvillea to grow across the balustrades at the top here, which makes it feel a little bit more enclosed and timeless.
It turned out to be a complete interior renovation too, where every detail was reimagined.
So what I love about this space is the complete grandeur of it. It's this massive box, which when we first got here felt very open and bare. And what we wanted to do was create beautiful, intimate spaces within this really large space. So the first thing we did was we introduced this round entrance table, which creates a beautiful flow around the space for people to navigate as they go into either the dining room or the living room. So one of the things that I wanted to do was introduce color, but in a very timeless, sophisticated way. So these beautiful ceramics here is our real pop of color that we have brought into a very neutral space, which I think is really lovely. And each ceramic comes from a different region around the world, which just makes it feel like it's a really lived-in space.
Many ideas arose from Dylan being the owner's guest during the renovation, and they weren't afraid to go big with this home.
The next thing that I think is really amazing is this couch. It is pretty huge, but what I love about it is it doesn't feel like it is invasive, even though each piece is about 1 meter square. And part of our aesthetic, which I think is really important, is we love bringing timeless classics into the space, and these Vercelli chairs are one of those timeless classic pieces that really just accentuate the space by mixing in contemporary timeless mid-century pieces and pieces from our own furniture collection, which I think I'm really proud of, that just brings the space together in a really beautiful way. So one of the key things for this art wall was we had to introduce a television to the space because this is also a TV room as well as a living space. So we introduced an RTV, which is incredible, just the sheer size. And also what I love is the framing detail. So we could really create this black and white contrast here, which is really timeless and sophisticated.
Intimate installations of indoor plants with structural black and white features echo the wider style.
One of the most beautiful things about this space is the indoor-outdoor feel, which I think is really key to this home's real beauty. And right behind me here is an extension of the kitchen where we've got a beautiful braai space where we've cladded it with Guatemala Vereda green stone, which just makes it feel so sophisticated and timeless.
It's a house where braaiing al fresco is as standard as cooking in the kitchen.
This is really the heart of the home here in the kitchen. These are where puzzles are built, dinners are made, the family really interacts here, and it's really a sophisticated space, yet very functional. One of the things I'm really proud of is these beautiful pieces of art, which I think is really fun. I did it one Sunday when I was staying here, where I just painted these canvases and added black oil detail to it.
As a child, Dylan lived in several houses with his mom, each move a chance to redecorate, until it became second nature.
So this is the primary bedroom, which I think is timeless, sophisticated, and it's got really dark, rich tones, which makes for a very peaceful space. What I love here is the use of linens, and what we've done is we've gone for a very monochromatic feel where everything is the same color, but just utilizing different types of texture through that concept. To make sure that nights are intimate and cozy, especially in winter, we have this really lovely fireplace here. It does get really cold in this space, so we needed to make sure that we had something that makes the space feel warmer, but also really sophisticated, with these beautiful tables next to it, so you could have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee in the morning and just really enjoy the space.
It was also an interior architect's dream having a client who gave him a free hand to go where his imagination took him.
To match the master bedroom, we need a master bathroom, and this is the epitome of it. We have a central bathtub, which is absolutely beautiful, and it's teamed up with furniture pieces that just really enhances the sophistication of a his and hers bathroom. Behind me here, we have a beautiful steam room that looks out into a courtyard that has an outdoor shower, and that really speaks the language of the rest of the house with an indoor-outdoor feel. So it really just has a complete sophisticated look everywhere.
Layered interiors which mix vintage and contemporary pieces create the feel. while focused installations like these ceramics with sculptural wall art define particular rooms.
The dining room is such an integral part of the family's lifestyle because they love to entertain, so this 10-seater dining room table is really important for us. But what I think is really key here is the introduction of leather. It's got a soldier formation, which I think is really timeless, and it speaks to the rest of the house.
A double-sided fireplace keeps the living area toasty, but the outdoors is where 2/3 of the year is spent.
We really wanted to maximize the space outside here and really just take advantage of the beautiful view of the garden. And what was really important was the selection of furniture that we went with. So I customized these beautiful kidney sofas, which lend itself into this really beautiful intimate moment. And we made a coffee table, but it's slightly higher than one, but slightly lower than a dining table. And what that does is it makes the interaction between the different sofas here feel a little bit more formal, but it's also very informal at the same time. So this 16-seater is a true testament that the family loves to entertain, and this is the perfect setting for it. As part of the water that surrounds the house, we have this infinity pool here that we made black recently, just to accentuate the sophistication that we have throughout the whole house. The black really makes it come to life. It also just makes it feel a lot more timeless. A key feature to this home is the landscaping. It's got a beautiful balance of structure with lots of natural details that come around, and that really just lends itself to speaking to that whole Frank Lloyd Wright style of the house. What we did was we looked at how we could introduce contemporary sculptures within the garden. The juxtaposition between man-made and nature comes together really beautifully, and the sculptures really stand out and become quite sophisticated, and also a key feature when looking into the garden and enjoying the space.
The only idea which hits a reality check was the new upstairs addition, but the client had the will, and so they found a way.
The main part of our project brief was to build some sort of structure that would sit on top of the house where the family used to spend time during COVID. And when I got the call to come in and have a look at what we could do to make the space something enjoyable, we came up here, we got a structural engineer in, and there were a lot of technicalities that we couldn't build on top of the roof, we had to build on the side. And one of the things for me that was really important was making sure that this extension felt like it was always part of the home and it was never something that looks like an add-on. I came up with this pavilion design, which is a lot bigger than what the client had intended, but the outcome has been so lovely. It's so special to spend time up here. This is what we came up with when we dreamt of this pavilion. Having the ability to showcase this home on the Insider SA is completely a dream come true.
Living in this forest of a city, adults can be forgiven for returning to their childhood and building a fun treehouse in its branches. Join us again next week as AKA's romance with Nadia Nakai blooms over a shared love of cooking. Back from years in Ireland, CJ and Jean-Marie Stunder's love for home blossoms anew in their latest guesthouse venture in Franschhoek. Plus, Mr. India SA and his wife, Joshua and Alyssa Maestri, share how their romance springs eternal.
Another feel-good production.